It would also not do at all for myself to provide spirituous liquors for those freeholders who make their way to the county courthouse, now would it?
But nevertheless, it still yet abounds at every election.
Yes, there always just happens to be a cart to the rear with a large quantity of bumbo aboard. Sir.
Under your government, what are the qualifications for holding the franchise?
For holding the franchise as it been, and this is the point where Mr. Lee and myself might differ yet a little, but then again, men of good sense of reason and of critical thought should stand differing on many opinions. For I have an indubitable and very large, generous distrust of man, but an absolute faith in mankind. So that when man brings himself into society and his various thoughts and opinions, what comes from that is the grace and the nature of man that rises to the fore. But, again to the point of the suffrage, a house or lot in town, 25 acres improved, or 100 acres unimproved.
I would favor the reduction or elimination altogether of any property class.
Doesn't seem.
Most often gentlemen such as Mr. Mason will argue, and I think there is merit in this argument, that the franchise should be held by those who have a certain ties to the society, have a certain stake in society. And one way of measuring that, I would agree, is the ownership of property. But I see far too many people who have not the benefit of ownership of property, yet I still believe should have a stake in our society. I inherited some 4,500 acres of land in Prince William County. I've chosen not to occupy that land, remaining rather in Westmoreland County. And I've leased it to several tenant farmers. These men, they labor quite hard. Their sons now serve in our Continental Army. They own slaves, which they pay taxes upon. They pay other imposts and duties, and yet they are denied the franchise. I believe firmly and wholly that they should be in order of the franchise.
And the other argument, and although I must say, I do stand in some agreement with Mr. Lee here, or I did put forth when we were talking on the matter of suffrage, that I would think a man is well vested enough in the society he is in if he has 3 children. And that could be a point of suffrage. But we must attend to what we can change at the time, all now being pointed towards the prosecution of the war, petitions to be put forward at any time to your representatives to make changes in the future, and those things that need to be will be changed. But I think that right-thinking men will find that giving over to the toleration and the freedoms of others as well as yourselves will find is the best course of nature. So were this to be a general rise of opinion, I would find that the government would answer to it. Its representatives would do so, or you would remove them. But then again, I would say, on the point of tenancy, Mr. Lee, there are those that fear that you, sir, of course, not being a tyrant to your tenants, might there lay upon those who are leasing from you the dictates that you would have them vote.
It's a simple matter to attend, my dear Mr. Mason. Rather than the men assembling at the courthouse and their name being called, announcing who they would favor to serve in office, rather have the ballot secret. And then I could offer any influence I wished upon these men, and they would be able to ignore it.
Capital idea. Capital solution.